What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Lane's Man Cave. And today I'm going to be giving out my Week 5 predictions. Let's go. Starting off with the Thursday night game, we got the Bucks and the Falcons. Bucks are coming off a big win against the Eagles, who did not have A.J. Brown, who did not have Devontae Smith. I don't remember if they had Dallas Goedert or not, but they played a very short-handed Eagles. And the Falcons are coming off a win against the Saints, in which they did not score any touchdowns, or any offensive touchdowns, I should say. But in this week's game, I do believe the Falcons are the better team overall, and I think they're going to win. Better offensive weapons, better offensive line. Bucks pass rush isn't really all that. Moving on. We do have a London game this week. The Jets and the Vikings are traveling over there. The Vikings, they're one of two undefeated teams. However, I do not think that will last. I'm picking the Jets. The Jets didn't score any touchdowns and lost against the Broncos last week. But it was a shitty game. It was very rainy. I know the Jets' field condition isn't all that great. And I do believe the Jets are definitely a better team than the Vikings are. So give me the Jets. Now to our 1 p.m. slate. Starting off, we've got the Bills and the Texans. The Bills are just coming off a blowout loss against the Ravens. Although I don't think the Bills got exposed. I think they're still a really good team. They are still a Super Bowl contender. And the Texans, they nearly lost to the Jaguars last week. Took them a game-winning drive. I still think Buffalo is the significantly better team. So give me the Bills to win. Colts-Jaguars. Speaking of the Jaguars, they nearly got their first win against the Texans last week, before they had a game-winning drive. And the Colts, they beat the Steelers with Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback. I'm not sure if Anthony Richardson's going to play this week or not, but he did have a good start last week against Pittsburgh. But I do think that Jacksonville gets their first win this week. Now we got the Ravens and the Bengals. Ravens looked like a Super Bowl favorite on Sunday. And the Bengals, they did win, but Joe Burrow had to play perfectly just so they can beat the Panthers. And this Bengals defense is clearly not good. They allowed over 30 points against Washington, over 20 against Carolina. Baltimore is the clear-cut better team. Dolphins, Patriots. That was one ugly game for Miami last week. As long as they got Tyler Huntley as their starting quarterback, they're not doing anything. Tyreek and Waddle, they couldn't get anything going. Devin Achane couldn't get anything going last week. Patriots, they got blown out by the Niners. But as it stands, New England is the better team when Miami doesn't have Tua. So I think the Patriots win this one. Now we got Cleveland and Washington. Jayden Daniels, he had back-to-back good games. However, he did play the Cardinals defense and the Bengals defense. Both of those defenses are among the league's worst. And Washington is playing a very college-style offense towards them. And I don't think that's going to last. Especially a defense that features Myles Garrett. Or against a defense that features Myles Garrett. I know the Browns just lost to the Raiders, who did not have Davante Adams or Max Crosby. but I'm still taking the Browns to win this one. And now we got the Bears and the Panthers. The Bears they had a really good game. The offensive line looked competent for the very first time, and DeAndre Swift had a good game even, and he hasn't had one all year. And the Panthers, they definitely look a lot better since putting Bryce Young on the bench, which is too bad. And a close one against the Bengals. But I do think Caleb Williams keeps it up, and the Chicago Bears win. Moving on to the 4 p.m. games. Raiders-Broncos. Broncos, they beat the Jets in the very rainy game. The Raiders, they beat the Browns. No Davante Adams, no Max Crosby. Speaking of Davante Adams, he did request a trade the other day. So it's looking like the beginning of the end for the Raiders. But I do think they win this game. When Davante Adams does eventually get traded, what's next? Does Max Crosby request a trade? Who knows? Now we got the Cardinals and the Niners. Cardinals were blown out by Washington. Not sure what happened over there. The Cardinals look like a playoff team in their first 2 weeks. And the Niners, they beat the Patriots. The Niners, they come out on top. And I'm not sure if I even have to go over it this one, because the Giants suck. Seattle, that even though they lost against Detroit, that they have had a good start, and I think they continue against one of the worst teams in the league. Packers-Rams. Jordan Love's back, and they nearly beat the Vikings. And the Rams, they lost to the Bears. They made the Bears' O-line look like a competent offensive line. They made DeAndre Swift look good. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, they are leading rookies in pressures, but other than that, the Rams just don't have anything going for them so far. I think the Packers win this game pretty comfortably. And now for the Sunday night game. Got the Cowboys and the Steelers. Steelers, they lost to the Colts last week with Joe Flacco starting. And the Cowboys, it's time to have a conversation about the Cowboys. They're not looking that good. They barely beat the Giants on Thursday night. Overall, they're just not looking good. However, I do think the Cowboys can go into Acrisure Stadium and beat the Steelers. Now finally, the Saints and the Chiefs. The Saints, they lost to the Falcons this week, although they didn't allow an offensive touchdown. As for the Chiefs, it looks like Rasheed Rice may not be coming back this year, and we don't even know if Marquise Brown's even going to play this year. It's Xavier Worthy, he has had a good rookie year so far, and we'll be able to see more of him. And we saw Travis Kelce have a good game last week, but it was a close one. I do have to say this, I would not be surprised if the Chargers won the AFC West this year over the Chiefs. But this game, I do believe the Chiefs win and remain as the team's only undefeated team going into this year. And that does it. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the year, but we do have a few bye week teams. The Chargers are on bye, the Lions are on bye, the Eagles are on bye. I know there's one more team, but I don't remember which one. And I went 9-7 in last week's game picks. And that's back-to-back-to-back weeks where I went single digits. And heck, week 3, I only went 7-9. So, that's not good. But I believe that this week I'm finally going to get back on track. So anyways, that does it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.